Battlefield 2042 Season 3 Escalation is shocking. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I jumped into this season not having any expectations or anything like that. And there isn't actually a lot of content with it. You only have the one map. There's, I think, 5 different weapons that have come in. You get like a new specialist. There's a 100 tier battle pass. I'm not really interested in the battle pass. I rarely ever pick them up unless they come with a big edition of a game that I've bought or something like that. And something absolutely fantastic about Battlefield 2042 now is the fact that the game has been added to EA Play. The full version of the game is no longer a trial. So if you are on Xbox, you own the Xbox Game Pass membership, you can play the game at absolutely no extra cost. So this video is mainly going to be talking about the new Spearhead map. I jumped into Conquest. They've put it into a 24/7 Spearhead Conquest playlist. So you are able to straight away just jump into the new map. And I really like that because it would be irritating to have to go through a rotation in order to find the new map to play. The one thing I can never forgive or forget with this game is just how bad the launch was. Performance issues all over the place, hovercraft flying up the side of buildings and pretending to be helicopters. There was almost no destruction, only 22 weapons. The maps were terribly balanced. Like when it comes to gun combat, it was pretty much just open. There was no cover or anything. I mean, it has taken the developers an incredibly long time to actually get the game to where it is. But comparing the game now, like a little over a year after launch, it's in a much better state. And I mean a much, much better state. I haven't experienced any performance issues. I've not seen bugs and stuff happening. The revives are working. All the stuff in the map, so the buildings, the destruction, like all the doors to the buildings, the vehicles, it all works. And that's all you can really expect from a game. As long as the core gameplay works, as long as there's some entertainment there, you can't really ask any more from the developers. Battlefield 2042, in my opinion, has had a great turnaround. I didn't expect it. I thought EA and DICE would do exactly what they did with Battlefield 5 and they would just abandon it and move on. But it seems as though they're willing to put the time and effort into it. They have announced the year 2, so there's going to be more content coming to the game. I think it'd be really nice in year 2 if they did drop the seasonal content. I can't see it happening. But it'd be nice if they could drop the seasonal content and just release updates with like a few maps featured and things like that. Not just one map every like 3 months or so. That's like one of the biggest letdowns for games nowadays is they do this seasonal content, it lasts a few months and you get little bits of content like dripped and drabbed, you get patches and stuff in between seasons. But the amount of content, when you compare it to something like the old Battlefields where you'd get an actual map pack, you get, let's say for example, like 4 maps and loads of weapons and stuff, and they might not come out as often, but I think the seasonal, like doing it every 3 months, because they're releasing stuff that often, they don't have as much time to put the effort in and make sure it's all up together, like performance-wise and technically. I just feel they don't get enough time. It'd be nice if they could do, say every 6 months they release 2 maps, because when you do jump on for that 6-month seasonal update or whatever, you're going to have a little bit more to do. But I jumped into Spearhead and I've only got one problem with the map, and that's just the fact that I feel it's a little bit too narrow for a 64v64 conquest map. But when you jump on this map, the colours are great. It's like a mixture of like grasslands, there's a couple of buildings and stuff. It's not a really dark map and at the same time it's not a really bright map. I think they did really well with that. Unfortunately, I couldn't use any of the new vehicles or weapons as I haven't leveled up the battle pass whatsoever. But jumping into the map, I went straight into a building and the combat that you have inside these buildings is really good. If a team's pushing one of the buildings to capture the objective, you're going to have some close quarters, like sort of tight nitty-gritty combat going on because there's a lot of obstacles and stuff in the way. It's not just a big empty room. And I feel they've got the balance of the map pretty good. It does create a very good atmosphere for attacking and defending because one team's going to start off with the buildings on their side, so it's a job for the other team to push and try and gain control of those buildings. And as well as the buildings, you've got a lot of open area. You've got quite a few objectives that are out in the open, but they feel fairly balanced as well. There's some really good cover in the different objectives. And then as well as the like boots on the ground sort of gun combat, you've got the vehicles, and it's like incredible for tanks. You can either take the cover of one of the objectives out in the open, or you can just sit on a hill just basically sniping people with your tank. So there is a very good mixture of like gun combat, vehicle combat, You've got a lot of space in the air for your air combat. I feel they've done a really good job with this map. And one thing Battlefield 2042 lacked at launch was destruction. And this map seems to have a lot better destruction. The buildings, you can actually take the side panels off them. They don't just stay there if you shoot a tank shell at them. And there's actually one side of one of the buildings, I climbed up a ladder and sort of found this nice little spot to pick people off at. And you can take down the entirety of the cover that covers the people that are like laying up on this platform. So eventually when the team figured out where I was, they blew the cover, they absolutely destroyed me. But overall, first impressions of the map, I think it's a really, really good map. A great addition to the game. They've also vaulted some weapons, so you'll have some portal weapons in there. It's not quite 70 plus. We did speak about that and their promotion for the game in the previous video for 2042. It's not quite 70 plus. Without the Battle Pass weapons, there are, I think there's 33 of them. But that's still a lot better than 22. So if anyone was to ask the question, like, do I pick this game up and try it? I would say yeah. I'd say try and get it on sale. It's been out for over a year. There should definitely be a sale for the game somewhere. But at the moment, with how the developers have worked on the game over the first year, I think it's in a much better state now. It's a lot more playable than what it was at launch. Unfortunately, when it comes into other game modes, I can't make a comment. I just played Conquest on this map. But I do like where they actually went, like the direction they took with this season. I like the futuristic side of it. It's not too over the top. I don't know how it's going to be when people get their hands on the new weapons and the new tank and stuff. I don't know how far over the top that goes, if it goes over the top at all. But I like it. You've got the futuristic, like, robot sort of things sitting around, moving around inside the buildings. I really like the way this map functions. I just wish at the same time they would release a little bit more content with these seasons. Hopefully, at some point during year 2 of the game, we do get more added in every now and then. Because I would love to sit there and play this game. Like, you've got a couple of map reworks in the season as well. But as much as I would love to sit there and play this game a lot more, I feel as though there's not actually much to do besides what you typically do in like an FPS game. You just play on the same maps over and over again, you shoot different people every game, and that's pretty much all you do. So if there were more maps added in with the season, if there was actually more content brought into the game, I think I'd spend a lot more time with it. But for now, my time's kind of over with the season. At least for the time being. I might pop in for a couple of games of Conquest every now and then. Because I feel they've done a really, really good job with this season. Season 3, I would say, is definitely worth playing. At least checking out and seeing how you feel. It might only be 1 or 2 games, then you get bored. But those 1 or 2 games could be really exciting. I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked the Spearhead map. And what we're going to do is leave the video there. Check out this video if you want to see other 2042 content on the channel. I will see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.